Hello students, today we are going to start topic number 2 of unit number 9, salts. As we discussed in previous lecture that we can make salts by the reaction, and the name of the reaction is neutralization reaction. When an acid and an alkali react with one another, they form salt and water. Here you can see the name of the different salts: sodium chloride, and that is also known as table salt because mostly we keep it in our tables at our home, and copper sulfate, that is used in laboratories, magnesium sulfate and calcium chloride, they are also used in the laboratory. Okay class, and after that we have discussed that they are in the solid state and they have high melting and boiling points. Why? Because they have strong force of attraction between their molecules, and they form salts by the process of crystallization. And we have discussed how can we name different types of salt. For example, nitric acid always produces salts that ends in nitrate, and hydrochloric acid always produces salts that end in chloride. Well, today the next topic which we are going to discuss is how we have to make salts. How can we make salts? Students, there are so many methods to form salts, okay, but we are going to discuss one today, and we are going to discuss how can we make salt by reacting acid with an alkali. Okay, here you can see HCl has H plus ion in it. As I told you in previous class that chemical having H plus ion is known as hydrochloric acid, and chemical having OH minus ion is known as alkali. So sodium hydroxide is alkali and HCl is acid. The name of the acid is hydrochloric acid and the name of the alkali is sodium hydroxide. This alkali is also known as base. Students, salts can be made by neutralizing an acid with an alkali, as I told you, and in this example hydrochloric acid is going to neutralize by sodium hydroxide. Here in this container we have an acid and we will add alkali. Now what happens when they both will react with each other? They both will neutralize their properties. They both will cancel out their properties. And what happens? As a result, we gain two substances. And these substances are called two products. One is salt and other is water. Now, what we have to do to get a salt? When we add alkali with an acid, after that we transfer it into evaporating basin. This container is known as evaporating basin, or generally we call it china dish also. This is also known as china dish. After that we keep it on heat. We apply heat, we keep it on burner, and you know that when we provide heat, water is evaporated. So it means that we have taken water in it also. Okay, so we add water in HCl because HCl is very dangerous acid. When we add water in acid, it becomes dilute. So what happens that if we have water in, we can also add water in base, but generally we try to use water to neutralize acids and alkali. So now what happens when we heat this solution, when we heat these chemicals, what happens that water evaporated but chemicals do not evaporate. The salt which is formed by this reaction will not evaporate because salt can never evaporate. Water evaporated and we get crystals in the solid form, and here you can see these are the crystals of salt, and the name of this salt is sodium chloride. Students, as I told you that sodium is a metal, okay, and in previous chapter I told you that how do metals react. You know, metals can react with water, metals can react with acid, and metals can react with oxygen. And I told you that when metals are put into water, some react and some do not react. Sodium and potassium react violently, giving off lots of hydrogen gas and forming alkalis because they are very reactive metals. And I told you that when magnesium is added into water, it reacts slowly. But when we add it into steam, it reacts violently with steam. And metals that are, unreactive, that are not reactive, they do not react with water. Students, you need to see the reactivity series, and that is present on page number 34, and you will recall the metals that are higher in the reactivity series and lower in the reactivity series. I told you that potassium and sodium, they react violently with water. Why? Because they are highly reactive. Okay, they are most reactive metals. So we should never put potassium and sodium in water because they give extremely violent reaction. And we should never put these metals into acid also, because if they are giving us violent reaction with water, so they will give us more highly and more extremely violent reaction with dilute acid. So why I'm telling you all this? Because we have to discuss acids and metal. Okay, generally we use iron in our daily routine, and iron is also a metal. Okay, so a metal corrode whenever a chemical attacks its surface. Water, air and acids are the chemicals which most commonly cause. Students, if you remember, I told you that more highly reactive metals can replace the less reactive metal. High reactive metal can replace the less reactive metal, and I explained the reaction of copper sulfate with iron also, and today we are going to discuss the reaction of acid and metal. And if you recall, and you can see on page number 35, when displacement reaction takes place, a displacement reaction only takes place when the metal that is put into the solution is higher in the reactivity series than the metal in the solution. Similarly, here we have iron nail in the acid. Okay, so displacement reaction takes place. Now what happened that what happens, students? Here displacement reaction takes place, and as a result we get two products. First one is metal salt and other one is hydrogen. Here you can see these bubbles are showing the precipitate of hydrogen gas. Okay, now this iron has corroded just because of this reaction, and this is a pure iron nail. Okay, this was the acid and because acids attacks the metals and acids are more reactive as compared to iron metal. Now let's discuss a test for hydrogen. Students, hydrogen gas is colorless and has no smell, and there are so many other gases which are, they are colorless and they have no smell. For example, oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide, these gases are also colorless gases. So when we want to know about the gas, and if we want to know that which gas is this, so what do we do? That we can do a test. If we have test in a test tube, we can't see this gas because it is colorless, but what we have to do, we will just lighten a splint and keep near the mouth of the test tube, and we'll come to know that if we get a squeaky pop, then we'll come to know that that gas is a hydrogen gas. Okay students, let's discuss two questions related to these topics, and we will continue this topic and rest of the question in our next video. Question number 1. Describe how you would make a salt by neutralizing an acid with an alkali in the laboratory. So what you have to do, you have to pour some alkali in a beaker as I told you, and add a few drops of an indicator to it. Okay, note the color change. Now this is another process also. Okay, you can add some alkali in the beaker, and there is a chemical substance that is known as indicator. Okay, and you have to note the color as you add indicator that container in alkali, the color will be changed. Okay, now you will note the color, and now after that you will add acid drop by drop in this beaker with alkali. Okay, what happens that note the point where the color of the indicator just changes. Now a salt and water have been formed by the reaction of the alkali and an acid. What you will do, you will pour the solution into an evaporating dish and heat it till the water evaporates. The salt will remain in the china dish. Okay class, in your book they didn't mention about the indicator, but I have added in this question the chemical substance indicator because I want you to know about it. Okay. Question number 2 is, what safety precautions would you take when doing this experiment? So whenever we are working in laboratory, in chemistry lab you have so many chemicals, so whenever you are performing experiment you have to cover your eyes with goggles. Okay, and if acids are spilled on clothing or skin accidentally, they must be washed off immediately with plenty of water. And you can add here that you can in this answer you can add we should wear lab coat and gloves. Okay, we will continue this topic in our next video, and rest of the question we will also solve. Well student, hope you have understood this lecture. Take very care of you. Read this topic from your book from page number 122 to 124. Take care.